Hi, I'm Hamish Conway, and welcome to TACOS Tuesday. This is episode 42, and this is part two of the looking at the Cosmo algorithm, Amazon algorithm, and the changes that are coming up in the customer journey. And with me again is Victoria, account director at Cell Global, and someone who is super smart and all over what is happening with this and this constantly evolving area. And it is one that like with RUFUS that we're going to be covering today, it's not in Australia, and I know a lot of our listeners are from Australia. It is in the US, and we're going to show you some examples of that. And so I've got this, if you're looking on the video, I've got some sun in my eyes there, which is slightly annoying. I'm going to move just a little bit there. I'll lean in. We'll lean into this conversation, Vic. So anyway, that's the idea. And so while this is Tacos Tuesday, and normally we're talking about Amazon ads, at the end of the day, it's about getting found on Amazon. And this is something that everyone who's selling on Amazon needs to be paying attention to. And maybe even, Vic, before we dive into the RUFUS side of things, do you want to give the very high level of what we covered off last week, just for those who didn't hear that just yet? If you haven't, make sure you go back and listen to it, but almost like the 1 to 2 sentence summary of what we covered last time.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining today. And it should be an interesting discussion as well. At a high level, we are seeing Amazon actually moving on from the keyword-based, heavily keyword-based algorithm to find your products and show them to the potential buyers to more intent-based. So what your potential buyers are looking for, sometimes not even realizing themselves what they're looking for. I think that's quite fascinating. So we're trying to guess what potential buyers are, might be having in their minds. So that is a massive shift. And in the past, if we were trying to optimize our listings for keywords and heavily or strategically place keywords in particular areas, going forward, it actually is not going to be necessarily the key objective. So we'll still need to have the keywords, but it will be crucial to get your images right, to have the information in the right places, but also more looking from the buyer's perspective at what your product does for them. So and what you might be looking for and connecting these two. And that is, I think from the buyer's perspective, it's going to improve their experience on the platform. And then from the seller's perspective, what you can actually achieve if you do things correctly or try to, you can actually reach the new buyers which you didn't realize would be your potential audience or your buyers. So it's quite exciting.
Yeah.
And it's mainly tested and running in the US at the moment, but as Hamish mentioned, we are going to actually eventually get it in Australia as well, and we have a bit of time to prepare ourselves to this change.
Yeah, interesting, right? Really. So moving from keywords to intent or signals. And so that is really where you've got to be putting yourself in the shoes of the customer, and what are the questions or concerns or objections that they might have going on in their head as well. And also just thinking how they would be using the product. So it's having to add a lot more layers of context behind your product. And that's also where video is so powerful in that, because we'll be looking at video and also your product packaging. So there's quite a few layers. So if you haven't watched that one, go back and do that. But look, today we're going to dive into some more details about RUFUS itself, and we'll show you some examples. Now, for those listening, that's fine. We'll talk this through, but there will be some homework to go and experiment yourself as you use RUFUS and just see what is there. And we'll start to join some dots for you as well in terms of what you, as a seller, what you can be doing to start to show up in these searches. So I will share my screen here.
It's kind of funny, like if we think about the whole RUFUS and the name, it took me a while to get used to the name because it's quite an unusual name itself. But you can see this little doggy in the middle of the screen. That's RUFUS.
RUFUS used to come up when you search for something, and it was like an error.
Of Amazon, right?
Yeah. It was like there was no, it was like an error in the link or whatever, and it would show RUFUS. RUFUS might have been an office dog or something. But anyway, he was.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So tell us about, apart from RUFUS being an office dog, he's obviously he's gone next level.
Really what he
He's a shopping assistant, AI-powered shopping assistant. So
That's
Tell
probably the
us,
most
tell us
helpful
more.
doc you would ever have. Yeah, right. So Amazon Rufus, especially in the US, is the generative AI powered shopping assistant. So it's basically, we discussed Cosmo algorithm. So the Cosmo algorithm is the brains of Rufus, if you want to think about it in this way. It's a bit weird way to think about it, but like that's how it actually all operates. So the algorithm collects the data from sellers and buyers and products and matches it all together. And Rufus is the interface that potential buyers or sellers, you can do it yourself as a seller as well, use to actually find the products they're looking for on Amazon.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of touched base. What are the benefits? If you're looking from the buyer's perspective, right? If you were to go on Amazon, especially in the US, there are millions, if not trillions, of different products, and only going to be more and more of these products. So I think there is a massive amount of fatigue from the buyer's perspective, trying to find what the right product for them is. And if you think about it from the seller's perspective, if you have been established on the platform, you probably kind of have your spot at the top on the top page one or somewhere in the first 5 pages to be found. But if you're a newer seller, it's quite hard to get through those ranks to actually get shown, or you have to pay a lot of money for PPC to be shown in those spaces. So by having something like AI, which actually will, the aim of it is to match in a much better way sellers and the buyers, more of us potentially will get an opportunity to get our products shown despite of all of these well-established brands and those who are paying a lot of money for the advertising to show their products at the top of search.
That's really interesting, actually. I hadn't thought of that as, because you've got Amazon definitely favors the incumbent. And the longer you've been there, and as people are typing in search terms, and you've been ranking and converting for those search terms, so you're relevant, then you're well up the organic ranking. But so what you're saying is that this change here is good news for brands who are on the way, or maybe new or still on the way up, trying to challenge those incumbent brands. And this is a real advantage if you're on top of your game in working to the algorithm or preparing to work with the algorithm. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of testing needs to be done, but I guess if you are optimizing for customer and also for the audiences, you would get a better chance, which you might have not had before or would have had to pay your way through, which still could be the case, right? We don't really know, but like you can test and see where your products are appearing, and you can play with your images. You can add more content and context to your listings, which can then help your product rank higher.
Okay. And so what else? What else about Rufus and how people are using it on Amazon?
So because it's an AI and AI has been developing extremely fast, we are actually seeing that the speed of searches and results shown is increasing. So it's really improving the buyer's experience on the platform and helps them shop for the products they actually want to buy. So it can also answer questions. We'll have a little sneak peek on how you can get your questions answered by AI, by Rufus. And in the past, you potentially would have done your search first on Google and try to figure out what the best product is for you, and then kind of navigate to that product. So now you can go directly to Rufus on Amazon and ask the same question and get probably even better tailored advice based on your historical purchasing behavior and all the information which Amazon already has on you based on what you looked for in the past. So you are getting very personalized recommendation as a buyer, which saves you time, and it feels like you're chatting to maybe not a friend, but at least to something a bit more useful than just a quick Google search. And you can also look up your orders, any information about your orders. You can ask Rufus, bring up any historical data which is saved on your account, which is also quite helpful if you're waiting for a parcel. You can ask, when is it coming, and it will give you a quick snapshot what delivery times are. And it's basically just simplifies and improves the whole shopping experience on Amazon. And that's what Amazon wants. They want happy customers and happy buyers. And as the sellers, we just need to make sure we play along.
100%. Okay. And so in terms of that playing along, and on the screen, if you're listening, we've got some mobile version questions there where it's, questions like, is this pickleball paddle good for beginners, or does it come with a case? And so what I was just thinking of Vic, that for every seller, and at the beginning, like earlier I said, every shopper has a list of kind of like a checklist of questions and going on in their head that they want answered before they buy. And so the work to do on each of your products is to list down what are the possible questions someone could ask about this product, and almost like rank them, as in popular ones. And you'll know, even if you look at your own D2C, what questions do you get in your customer support chat there, or online? Like, just you got to trawl through that. Well, use ChatGPT to go through that and find out what are the most common questions people are asking, and then it's about putting those answers into your listings. Is that right? So I think like this is a job for everyone to do, is write down those frequently asked questions or questions that could possibly be answered. There's also another, just off on a little tangent. What's that site? It's called, it's Ask, is it Ask the Public?
Ask the Public, yeah.
Ask the Public, yeah. So have a look at Ask the Public, and that there will give you a lot of inspiration, because that actually is looking at Google questions that are asked. So definitely go have a look at that. Actually, that would be a good idea. Anyway, a little bit off topic, but just some thoughts that came to mind that I thought would be quite useful. So let's have a look at what can Rufus do. Rufus can do what right now?
Oh, basically anything. No, not yet. It will be much more powerful going forward. But you can ask anything from a very simple product search, right? So you can be just searching for sunscreen, or you could be asking, if you already order it, you could check, when is my order arriving, and it will tell you, it will bring up your order, as you can see, or maybe not see, but at least the first screenshot is kind of showing that. And then you can actually just, ask anything else, like how to cook a cake or bake a cake, right?
Yeah, what do I need to make a souffle? Excellent. Then I'll go, well, you need all of these things. Okay.
So it will give you all the different things you need, and you're like, oh, okay, I have this and this and this I need to order. And the best one, which I love, and for those who don't know, I have 3 kids, and you always plan their birthdays or parties or of some sort. As a mom, usually you just go crazy trying to figure out what is the best, what can you buy for the, I don't know, Minecraft themed birthday party, right? That's coming up for me. I wish I had Rufus here in Australia, so I could actually just type it in the search and actually get the whole list of potential products which would suit my themed party. Just imagine that, so much time saved for busy parents, and you can only see that growing and becoming really popular, because you could have like the birthday party, or some other themed, like say goodbye party to someone, and you might be really stuck thinking about it, but you just go to Amazon and ask Rufus, and it will give you like some ideas and suggestions. Yeah.
Excellent. And so let's actually, we'll jump over to
do a live one.
Amazon.
Yay.
Yeah, it's Amazon.com. So you've still got the main search Amazon, and that's where people are going to type in.
Maybe let me just pause you here for one sec.
Yeah.
So for those of us in Australia, you usually go to amazon.com.au. To have a look at Rufus, you need to go to amazon.com.
Correct.
And also, when you have the option deliver to in the top right, there of the screen, just enter a US zip code. We have 90210. It's Beverly Hills, I think.
Beverly Hills 90210. And so people listening to this will probably remember that. So that's the easiest one to remember.
That's right.
And that gives completely different search results.
If
if you just have your Australian or New Zealand, it's not going to show the same. So so you do that at .com. And then, so we've got Rufus is just sitting underneath the Amazon logo. So you can type into the search bar, or you can click on Rufus. And let's say, actually, like funny, before we started recording, both Vic and I have been coughing, and so it's like, what do you need? So it was like, what is the best Manuka honey to soothe my cough? Then it'll come up. It was just checking on that.
And you can get quite creative, right? What you're asking, you can say, "Oh, what can help without even saying that." You might not know that
without even saying Manuka honey. Well, let's even do that. What can help my cough. Maybe because we've already had the Manuka honey ones here, just because we've got a Manuka honey client. And then it goes, it's going more to like cough syrups, cough lozenges, throat sprays, humidifiers, herbal teas. And then it's like, what are some cough remedies with honey? Then it kind of prompts with other questions.
Right.
You said coughing.
Yeah.
There you go. Just
so
proof
as a buyer, potentially, Hamish, now you look through, you received some responses at the top, right? So you got a few different products. And when you scrolled and you looked at the air purifier or humidifier, whatever it was, you actually was surprised. You sounded surprised, right? So you weren't expecting to get that. But potentially, if it's not, for kids especially, that's the product you need. But you didn't really think about even searching for it in the first place.
Yeah.
And as you go further down, it didn't suggest you anything with honey products, but then it asked, so, would you like to know, like to find something with the honey? And then you can click on that if that's what you were thinking in your mind.
Yeah. So if I have that, so it's kind of, it's putting itself in my shoes. And then, so this one then might loop back around. And so let's say then, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, some best like lozenges on the market, right? So which are
the
high
best
quality,
purity are the best.
That's right.
How good's that? All right, make sure they see this.
That's right.
And then we've gone to the listing, and I can tell you these are good, and that's actually, I wasn't expecting that to happen. So just so you know, it's one of our clients has popped up on the screen. Yes,
that tells you the story. So whatever we are doing leads to this product being shown, as one of the preferred options.
That's right. And so here it's got, look, are they made with? Then it's got other questions just under the main images there. It's got Ask Rufus. It's got, are they made for natural ingredients? It's got some prompts there. Or it's got Ask something else. Yeah. So I could click on Ask something else, and it could be how many lozenges per pack, for example, and then it's coming up with an answer to that, which is 16. Then it loops back around.
That's right. And potentially you can do a comparison if you were thinking about this product and another product, or this product and some other type of product like honey instead of lozenges. You can ask what would be better, or all of these different questions without actually leaving the listing. So your chance of actually converting as a potential buyer is quite much higher, because you learn more and more about this product as you're staying on this page. So
correct,
RUFUS is grabbing your attention and keeping you in this page. So how, as sellers, can we optimize our listings to make sure that the buyer doesn't leave this page and stays on our product and purchases our product? That's the challenge I think we all will have.
Correct. And it's becoming like a competition-free zone, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Because when people search normally, like they'll just go back. They would just go back and redo that search and then click on another listing and then pop out of that and go back. But they're spending more time with it.
That's right.
It's quite different, actually, even just as we're going through this now. And so that's well done.
So maybe something I will mention here, we did discuss it in our previous episode, but here we can actually mention that the question you asked about the number of lozenges, yes, you have it in the title, but you don't really even need to have it in the title anymore, because that's on the pack. And AI scraps all the data from your hero image, from the other remaining images, from the videos, from your copy, from A+ content. If you scroll on this particular listing, you can see extremely beautiful, well optimized brand story, A+, videos, information about the products themselves, alternative products. You can see, you can buy the lipstick or something which contains manuka honey and will help you
lip balm.
Lip balm to help your lips stay hydrated, and all of that. So you can actually, if you really like the brand, you follow the brand, you could see what other products you could try from this brand, and become the brand ambassador if you wish. So a lot of opportunities and a lot of space to put your information into. I guess it shouldn't be ignored.
No, that's right. And again, it's just obviously you got to have these fundamentals down with A+ content or A+ premium, ideally.
Yeah, it's becoming so. In Australia, we actually don't. You could use the brand story in Australia, but some things are not as rolled out as in the US. So we're a little bit behind. So for those who are selling in Australia and want to improve their content, especially, go and have a look at the similar products sold in the US and get inspired, because especially those in the beauty and food and any OTC, over the counter medication products, supplements, they would be on the top of their game because it's extremely competitive. So they would be utilizing the best strategies available to them. So if you were to go to their stores or listings and see what they're doing, you would probably have a very good idea as to what you should be doing in the future in Australia, and start doing it early if you can.
Yeah, 100%. Like, this is, you want to be at the front of the queue if you're in Australia with this here. Hence, we're doing this episode here. Okay, so let's jump back over to the slides. Kind of really covered about this here, or just a quick comment on how it works, all the tech behind it.
Yeah, I guess it's just a summary, just reminding that we have to actually train the algorithm behind the RUFUS, and as we can actually do something about it as the sellers. We need to optimize the listings. We need to think about our target audience, which is critical, and then what kind of uses the target audience can get from this product, and make sure we mention those uses. So it could be used for sore throat if we talk about those lozenges. And I need some of them, excuse me. Or maybe you have a dry mouth, so that's another use which you can get out of the product, and that need to be mentioned somewhere in your listings. So the more of the higher quality data you provide to the algorithm to learn from, the better your experience and the buyer experience will be, the more established your listing will become in the future. And I think it will be, because AI can see data, it will grab it, it will show when those searches come up from the buyer's perspective.
Yeah.
So it does a lot of learning at the background, and the more data you can feed the algorithm, the better. But we need to do it in the non-keyword heavy way now. So you have to get quite creative.
Yeah, exactly. And what else here, like in terms of knowing everything about your products? Let's quickly talk to that.
The algorithm, because it's an AI, it can do things very quickly and a lot of things at the same time. So it can very quickly summarize, categorize all the reviews that customers left on the product, on your product, or on the competitor's product, for example. So if you're launching a new brand or new product, you could go to a competitor and have a look at the summary of the reviews, and ask RUFUS to outline the key positive reviews or the key negative reviews, and make sure that you address them in your product. It could be some information which buyers are not sure about, they might be lacking on the competitors. So if they're asking that particular question and you have the answer for, the RUFUS will bring it up over their product.
Yes.
Right? So your product will show up before their product would. You can improve the customer engagement. So we were discussing how you stay on the page longer because you're asking all these questions, you're learning more, you're becoming more confident that whatever you're buying is actually meeting your needs, and the conversion rate goes higher. You can do a lot of comparisons. So you can just say, compare product A with product B and tell me which one is the best, or, will last longest, anything, right? So you can be quite creative when you search as a buyer as well. And also, the algorithm is learning as you feed it some questions. So in the future, you might not need to even ask that question, because it will remember that in the past, if you logged into your account, you actually asked that question and your preferred option was this. So it will remember, and it will give you more personalized suggestion in the future.
Yeah. So it's really just taking that aspect to the next level, because it'll have continue browsing when you go to the homepage on some products you might have been looking at. But this will bring it into the some answers that from RUFUS, so that personalization.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what else here?
Yeah, and we did touch on this a little bit before, but it's basically just helping the customers and simplifying the experience, and helping them to find the things they're looking for quicker. And potentially, they would purchase more things because they're like, oh, I actually wanted the lozenge, but I don't have a humidifier. And, the difference between the $10 or $16 lozenges and $100 humidifier is quite large, but it's a cross-selling opportunity. And as a brand, you might think, okay, so if I'm selling humidifier, what products could my products be complementary to? And you could mention it somewhere, you could say like, you could be, you might be wanting to use lozenges, but also you should use the humidifier, whatever you
Yes.
say, right? Like you just put it in a storytelling way, and then it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it's keyword stuffed. It takes the buyer on a journey, but it also teaches the algorithm what the uses could be.
Yeah.
So the way you
100%.
typed your question, I think, so it wasn't like really, I want Manuka, well, show me Manuka honey products, right? You asked a question which is phrased in a very different way. And considering that the whole population is quite diverse, we all speak different languages. So my English is not your English. We have different accents, different ways of we asking questions, generational difference, right? Shortening the
Yes.
words and all of that. So it actually, the AI and Rufus itself uses like a natural language understanding. So you can ask it in any way, and it will learn your way of asking questions, which is quite
Right.
helpful to many of us who are not native speakers, or potentially native speakers as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
I guess just the whole comparison and analysis, which you as a buyer don't necessarily need to do anymore on your own. So you don't have to go to product A, read everything about it, go to product B, read everything about it, and then decide what you want to buy. Rufus will do it for you and then suggest that this product will be better because ABC. So you kind of don't need to think that much.
Yeah.
Just
That's
buy.
good. Yeah, because I was buying on Amazon Australia the other day I was getting a golf travel bag, and I was going back and forward, and I was looking at the reviews, and it was just quite difficult actually.
Yeah,
And
could be.
so you could just be asking, show me the best value golf travel bag that has the highest review ratings, for example, a price between $80 and 120.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
and then it will come back with that. You're giving it the criteria to operate it within. And that would be much easier because it's just a faster shopping experience, and time is something that we're all there. And if Rufus removes the friction, then that's great.
That's right.
All right.
Well, as we mentioned, Rufus is only US only at the moment. But given that Amazon has been rolling out all developments and improvements into Australia just at a slower rate, and I guess after testing is done in the US and they just need time to roll it out to other geographies, it's coming. Probably with a quite high certainty, because in the US, I think the buyers like that addition to the search and Amazon itself. So I think it inevitably will get it in Australia as well at some point in the future.
Yes.
We can start optimizing our products, listings, shopping experience to the future AI, which is not necessarily contradicting anything we're doing at the moment. If anything, we just need to start thinking we're talking to a person, but we're also trying to feed enough data to the algorithm to pick it up and know things about your product. So if you're selling soap, for example, a bar of soap, right? You need to think that if you just put your bar of soap on the hero image and AI looked at it, it might not realize it's a bar of soap. It might think it's a pillow. It might think it's something else, right? How do you show your product that AI can actually understand what the product is, what the product does, what's intent, and what's the target audience? If you can fit all of this in your main image, it's quite a lot of the heavy lifting is done, and you can use your copy to strengthen that understanding.
Excellent. What about impact in the future?
Yeah, so there are some interesting estimates which I came across. Within this presentation, there is like a lot of information I gathered from different email lists and people who are in the industry understanding this space, and they're learning as well as sharing it with others. So there's a lot of information which you might not find freely. So the estimate at the moment that the forecasted potential increase in revenue could be like close to 700 million, just because Rufus helps you buy more expensive products or find new products or something like this air purifier, which we came across accidentally, which I think.
So what would that forecast be? Is this like additional
to the current year? So it's almost like 1 billion of additional revenue just because you're using the customers, the buyers are using Rufus on Amazon US.
Right. Okay.
And the evolution of the whole Rufus system and Cosmo is actually leading to having a full-on AI shopping agent for you, to a degree that potentially, if you're a mom of 3 and you're constantly buying nappies for your baby on Amazon because it's convenient, right? So AI will know that you run through those nappies every week, right? So you need to, every week it will order it's almost like subscribe and save, right? But on steroids. Yeah, it will just show up at your door and you don't have to think about it. And all of these small things, which we usually waste our brain power onto. So, we don't have to do it anymore. So AI agent will know that we need nappies and my baby is growing. So at the age of 18 months, he or she will need a different nappy size and it will adjust it. So I don't need to go and tell it. It will just do it, right? So I think it will make lives much easier and faster. So yeah, we just need to keep up.
Yeah. Excellent. It's going to be interesting around that kind of permission to do that. Because you can imagine some things turning up. It's like, I didn't order that. I want a refund.
It, right?
But then you open up and go, actually, I do need that. Damn you, Amazon Rufus. How did you know?
Yeah, that's right.
How did you know? Too much.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. All right. Well, we better kind of
we're almost at the end.
Fly through these last ones here. So again, it's really we're going from keywords to signals, and that's really a key part of it. But linked to this here, what about sponsored ads on RUFUS? Because we've had this question at the workshop that we did last week, and with more, obviously we did a whole section on advertising, which is still very keyword driven. But now, for those of you not watching on YouTube here, but what will happen is with RUFUS here, and this is in beta, it'll have. So how can I help? Are they compatible with non-Apple devices? So this is around earbuds. And then do they stay securely in place during exercise? Then there's a recommended one there. It's got sponsored, why choose Apple earbuds, ? Or another one, it's like, why choose Lego building sets?
Yeah.
So the way Amazon ads are going to be presented is something that's going to be quite new. This is just in beta at the moment in the US.
Yep.
But again, this is going to be coming. So again, with advertising, it'll be moving away from keywords to more of the intent and the questions, all those that people need to be thinking about. So that's going to be quite fascinating. Anything else you would add to that?
Yeah, just something to think about is that the whole AI algorithm development is not only affecting the listings, but also the advertising space. You still need to do your basics from the advertising perspective and understand and have goals in place. That's what we're trying to tell every brand we manage, that you need to actually have goals and objectives with their advertising. And with the appearance of RUFUS and Cosmo, we'll actually have more places to show our ads and have more creative ways of showing it and potentially showing it to the right audiences or test new audiences. So if you were to go in the background, when you're creating listings, even in Australia, that's what I realized a few days ago, that if you click on when you're creating listing, you can use actually all just mandatory fields to fill, the standard ones, recommended ones, or all. So try to go into all and see. You will get additional questions like, what is your target audience? It's not yet a mandatory question, but if you add like target audience in there, you can say like, young adults or kids over 7, whatever it would be, right? You potentially helping the algorithm. And those questions are already there, which tells me that RUFUS is coming because it feeds off those audiences. Just go and try to create a new listing, see what new questions you might be asked. If you have already listings, maybe just go back and see if you can add that information because it will help. I mean, I'm talking Australia now, not US necessarily. And those are potential places when you look at the screen, which we're showing here, they will appear in the RUFUS search. So you can actually pay to appear in the RUFUS search, which is massive.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's going to be huge. And again, what just comes to mind for me, and we've probably hammered this point, but as a seller on Amazon, you just cannot be lazy with this. You've just got to optimize the heck out of it, and just every available field, and just really be thinking hard about this. You'll probably have to do more in this environment on this marketplace than you do on other channels. But actually, the whole way we're heading with shopping agents, etc., this is really a new way of thinking about how you present your products. But Amazon, they kind of lead the pack, particularly with marketplaces, and just look at where the options are and get relevant information into those.
Absolutely. And something to add, maybe also be a shopper on Amazon. Even if you're not at the moment, a lot of people are in Australia not shopping on Amazon or as much. But if you become a shopper, you will see what does Amazon do when they follow up and asking you for review, because Amazon does it on your behalf. And if you're a seller, you can learn a lot from being a buyer as well and see what buyer experience you get, especially as we're transitioning from one algorithm to another algorithm.
Yeah, really good call. All right. And then just very quickly here, as we're talking about shopping agents, talk to us about
Oh, that's
what
a
you can,
funny
if
one.
you,
I just loved
this
it.
is worth looking on YouTube.
Yeah, I came across this one in one of the emails, and I thought that's an amazing example. So in the future in Australia, but you already now in the US. So you can actually just describe what you want to get to Rufus. You might not know what you're looking for, or you can go to ChatGPT, do the same thing. So here on the screen, we have actually like a question saying, so if I'm typing it into ChatGPT, I'm saying, imagine, like ChatGPT, imagine you are on a mission to turn your golden retriever into a most adorable hot dog in California, and so on. And it needs to be under $30 and delivered by Friday. And, just show me the pics based on this criteria. And what we have on the screen, and if you could have a look at it later, would be great. It's just like all the golden retrievers and other dogs wearing hot dog suit, and then with
Like fake kind of buns. It's like a
yeah,
dog
like
outfit.
a real hot dog, which is almost like Halloween kind of, right? And also with the listings, so it's basically the hero images from the listings from the sellers who present something like that. So AI took my search, and not my, but like the one I just read through, and went and looked at the potential listings which meet those criteria which I requested. So it's below $30, it looks funny, it's for the dog, and kind of mapped it. I haven't said it needs to be a particular size or anything, but it would know already based on this on the golden retriever you mentioned. So wherever you go, it could be Amazon, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Grok on X, it could be Gemini on Google. Those type of searches will be more and more common, and you don't even need to know what you're looking for, but you could get inspired very easily in the future. So yeah, go and play with it. It's a lot of fun actually doing it.
Yeah, awesome. Good stuff. All right, Vic. Well, so I think in summary, the homework for everyone, there's two things. One is to go to Amazon.com and play around with Rufus, like be a customer, use Rufus, see what questions you ask, and just get a sense for what that experience is like. Then think about your products and think about your consumer and start building up a database of what are the questions or concerns or objections that any customer might have about a particular SKU. Get them all down and then start to incorporate them into whether it's in the back-end fields or into your listing in some way. And then you are going to be ready, and also be thinking about videos and how you can do that. That's actually probably a quicker way, an easier way in many cases, and thinking about your hero image and the other images in your image stack. And it's going to be time to do a serious refresh. And at the same time, if you did want to have a conversation with one of the team at Sell Global about this, then please feel free to make a time. Go to gosellglobal.com and you'll see a button there where you can make a time to have a chat, and we'd love to be of service to you. So Vic, thank you once again. Really appreciate you, and it was actually so good to see as we went through that the work you're doing is working.
I know. That was a bit nerve-wracking. I was like, no, it will work.
I seriously wasn't expecting that. That was brilliant. Anyway,
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks, Vic, and really appreciate people tuning in as well. And I think the next episodes will be more advertising focused, as per the TACOS Tuesday advertising tactics and strategies. But even in there, you can see Rufus is going to be a factor in your advertising mix coming up. Anyway, thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate it. All the best. Bye.